And now it falls to the feet of Kawasumi. Turning on the ball, still has it, drops it for Reed.
There's where you see that Naho, she's just so good at solving pressure, playing quickly.
And now turning and stepping ahead is Mellis.
Great.
In the area by herself, and she scores!
Yeah, I think for Manon, she started brightly and then she got her injury and it's been a tough road back, but just pleased for her that she could not just get a goal but get it so early. I thought settled us down, but then we've got to push on from there. I think that's critical, and she's one of those players that she's so explosive that in the start of games she's really difficult to deal with.
This is Kim Little. Little tries to chip over. Running is Mellis. She already has one. Looking for her second, and now turning. It's punched up over the bar.
We were disappointed at the weekend in terms of we didn't take our chances in the first half of the game when we needed to. And when you're playing a team like Flash, you always know that they're going to be a threat off set pieces and obviously the long throw. And when you don't take those chances, you put yourself under pressure. And I thought in the second half, we were lucky not to concede again. So having talked about that and just making sure that we have a bright start to a game, that's important. But then can we keep that going throughout? I think it's been a big part of our talk this week. Oh, huge. You know, I think we're in a position now where 3 points is vital. But as ever, we're always trying to focus on our performances. And we believe when we get good performances, we get good results. Unfortunately, this year we haven't had too many good performances. That's been the key. But we're not turning multiple losses into wins. We're turning a lot of ties into wins. That's got to be our focus. I think just consistency is the key. I think we show flashes of it in every game we play, but we haven't had a consistent 90-minute performance probably for a few weeks now, which has got to be our focus and has been this week for sure.
The NWSL Championship is coming to Houston this October. So what's that mean? Here's your guide to the NWSL Championship in just 60 seconds by me, Melissa Henderson. The National Women's Soccer League is the top women's soccer league in the United States, featuring 69 national team players from around the world, including 37 Olympians and 19 members of the World Cup winning United States women's national team. Houston was pre-selected as the 2016 NWSL Championship host city. America's top 2 professional teams will meet in Houston for the NWSL Championship. It's the end of the line for pro women's soccer playoffs, and it's all going down in H-Town. So here's how it works. There's 10 teams in NWSL. Top 4 teams in the regular season standings make it to playoffs, with the higher seed teams hosting each semifinal match, and the final 2 face off for the chance to lift the trophy. Support women's pro soccer and join us at BBVA Compass Stadium to see who will be crowned this year's champion. Sunday, October 9th at BBVA Compass Stadium. Get your tickets now at bbvacompassstadium.com.
High stakes in the Pacific Northwest tonight as 2 teams desperate to remain in the NWSL playoff picture go head-to-head. It's the Orlando Pride and Seattle Reign from Memorial Stadium on an absolutely perfect night for soccer in Seattle. And great to have you with us, everyone, along with former Reign defender Carmelina Moscato. I'm Tom Glasgow. Orlando comes into this match with a 1-point lead over Seattle. Both teams, though, on the outside looking in at those top 4 spots, which allows you to punch a ticket into the postseason. I'm not sure it's a must-win for both teams, but it's awfully close to that.
I would say it's pretty close. I think at this point, those points are going to matter. However, with Seattle, their focus all season has been on a good performance that are going to allow them to score those goals. And I think right now they're craving that, and it would really help them in their playoff push and contention. So tonight is a big one for them.
Yeah, the strength for head coach Laura Harvey's squad, a very talented midfield, which includes Jess Fish like she brings 100% effort every time out.
Yeah, she sure does, and she's really the glue and the organizer of this team. You see her barking orders on the pitch, and that's exactly what the teammates look for from her. And I think tonight she's going to have an organizing role, a little bit of a different formation, I anticipate, and I think she's going to definitely be make or break for the team.
Yeah. Saw Jess yesterday. She said it's go time. They understand the stakes of this one.
Much.
And one of her teammates in that midfield, she is just a rock-solid veteran, Keelan Winters.
Yes, Keelan and Jess have over the years built a really wonderful partnership, and tonight is no different. Keelan may be in a different role as well, and I think it's going to be part of the glue that gets the performance and the points that they need.
Orlando head coach Tom Sermani, one of the best in the business, terrific guy, but his hands are tied somewhat. He has 6 of his players, including his entire back line, that have been called up for national team duty ahead of the Olympics. So he's doing a little patchwork, but he's getting a lot of help from an outstanding midfielder in Kristen Edmonds. She has really come alive offensively.
Definitely, and I think this is the prime time for a lot of players to step up. Her specifically, she's a workhorse in the midfield. She's dynamic, she's fast, and she'll be pushing in the first minute as well as the 90th. So she's a player to watch out for, and she's had a lot of late efforts lately, and I think she's going to be no different tonight.
Well, on paper, it shapes up to be a terrific matchup with these high stakes this evening. Stick around. The opening kickoff is coming your way from Seattle. The Orlando Pride taking on the Seattle Reign.
In 1935, 18 workers each contributed 50 cents to start BECU. The first loans helped co-workers buy the tools they needed to do their jobs. Today, we're Washington's leading credit union, and we're still banding together to make our money go further. Because while others stay motivated by profits, we're motivated by something greater: our members. Join us.
They did like a minor hearing test, like something they would administer at school, and I failed. So I look up all these things about hearing loss, and I see like these huge hearing aids, and I'm like, whoa, like I don't want to wear that. When I first went in for my appointment, my audiologist, she was actually wearing one herself. I didn't notice she had her hair down, and then she took it out, and I was like, wow, like you have a hearing aid, and physically showing me that it wasn't as bad as I thought made me feel a lot better about it.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium at Seattle Center. If you're not familiar with this area, we are about a 2-minute walk at most from the Space Needle. For those of you that are joining us from Orlando tonight, we are happy to have you with us. Haley Kopmeyer, question mark, backup goalkeeper for Seattle. Hope Solo, of course, with the national team. So the question with Haley, her health, it looks like she'll be fine and good to go tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I think she was out there quite early tonight testing her ankle. She's been diligently prepping and getting ready for this moment with a variety of different ways of healing, and I think she's been professional about the injury to get back in record time. So I hope it goes well for her tonight. She looked good out there, and we'll see.
Part of the motivation, I think, Haley, who's from Michigan, played at the University of Michigan, has family in town. So if your family makes the trip out, you want to do everything you can to get out on that field. So that'll be helpful tonight for Seattle. Just real quick, since we mentioned Hope and some of the other players who've been called up to their national teams, how do you think that's going to impact this league race with this coming so late in the season? I guess once everybody gets back together post-Olympics, the teams can adjust the quickest are going to have the advantage.
Yeah, definitely. There's some big shoes to fill. The national team players being away, they'll be greatly missed. I do think that other players get a chance to step up. That's the natural nature of what this break and this pause in programming is going to do, but it also allows different type of results. Maybe a predictable Portland win is no longer that. And so I think it makes the league a little interesting, and it will restore its balance back in September.
What you learn certainly about teams in this situation is the overall depth. And for Tom Sermanni, we mentioned that entire back line. So that's a huge adjustment. You're a defender, or were a defender, still a defender. Let's talk about the challenges of taking 4 starters out and coming in with an entirely different group. And the key certainly has to be, to some degree, the communication.
Yes, very much. I think it's a testament to Tom, the players for sure, always, but testament to Tom to be able to put together a back line that is doing quite well and solid. And I think it's going to be, it takes months to get a back line cohesive, but they're actually doing quite well. And I think they're solid relative to the time that they've had.
Right now, let's listen in to the national anthem.
And for the singing of our national anthem, performed tonight by Hannah Streets.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through that perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' bright glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, great job with our national anthem tonight, Hannah Streets. And officiating tonight's game, the head official, Christopher Spivey.
With Carmelita Moscato, I'm Tom Glasgow. Nice to have you with us as you take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's match. And as we look at the lineup, Carm, for Orlando, 2 key replacements as Danny Weatherholt and Christina Birkenrode come in. Sarah Hagan and Becky Edwards not starting tonight. Big decision by Tom Sermanni.
Definitely a big decision. I think it looks like a style change in terms of approach, potentially putting 3 players up top that are going to attempt to get in behind a little bit more, and probably switching it up in the midfield, maybe giving Becky a break. Otherwise, she is quite a staple for the team, so not sure about that one.
And for Seattle, up front, Matthias, Nellis, and Naho Kawasumi, as she has rejoined the club in recent weeks, and Naho making an immediate impact on this squad.
I had the pleasure of commentating that first game back, and she did inject a whole level of energy into this club and to the fans, and she's been doing such a wonderful job. Can't wait to see her tonight.
Very popular player here in Seattle, but no one more impactful on this team, and when she's going, nobody better in the league than Kim Little. And I know Tom Sermanni is going to have a lot of concern about Kim, especially when she's on the ball.
Definitely. A player to contain. I think with Kim, it's about maybe getting that first goal under her belt in recent games and feeling like there'll be a floodgate that will open. So Kim is capable of anything and to change a game in any moment. So you got to look out for her.
Yeah, Little, the league MVP in 2014, a season that saw her deliver 16 goals and 7 assists. And for the Seattle team, it has been not what they expected. They won the Shield the last 2 seasons, came up short by 1 goal of both seasons against Kansas City for the league championship. So obviously the goal this year was to get over that hump and win the league title. But again, when you look at the standings, folks at 538 did some number crunching. Seattle right now about a 25% chance to get into the postseason. Obviously with Orlando 1 point ahead as we enter this match, they're in about that same boat. So really important to get off, I would think, for Seattle to a solid start in this game and try to force Orlando to play from behind.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think, that's the beauty of this sport, and I think sport in general, that, they still have a 25% chance. That means they still have a chance, and
Right.
I think all teams that are in contention with a couple wins today potentially, and maybe one more ahead of them, I think they'll be right back in the race. But it will be about taking care of business today.
And tremendous credit I think you have to give to Orlando in this expansion season with what they have been able to accomplish. Still very much in play. They've had tremendous support at home, down in Orlando. The fans there in the organization doing a terrific job. So they've been a very, very nice addition to the NWSL.
They absolutely have a very welcomed addition, and it is their first time here at Memorial, so that's going to be really is cool to see, historic in a way.
First meeting between these teams, May 8th, down in Orlando, and it was the Pride coming away with a 2-0 victory. So Seattle would certainly like to put a much stronger performance together for this matchup tonight. Our referee this evening, Christopher Spivey. The ARs, Christopher Elliott and Joshua Hames. And the fourth official is Kelsey Harms. And we are underway in Seattle, and it's hard to miss any of the Reign players with the fluorescent neon look, if you will, here tonight, going against the blue-clad Pride. Carson Pickett, very well known to fans down in Florida, the Reign rookie, top draft choice out of Florida State University. Looked into her yesterday. How's it going? She goes, yeah, it's great. I'm loving Seattle, enjoying the experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for any rookie getting into the league, it's about, getting these valuable minutes and doing your best to keep up with the speed of the game, and I think she's doing a wonderful job.
And replacing a great player, longtime member of the U.S. Women's National Team, and Stephanie Cox. The threat here for Seattle, and that shot by Merritt Mathias really didn't get the power behind it that she would like, but a good early surge for the Reign.
I think you can see already the front foot mentality. They're pressing. Merritt getting a shot off in the first minute. I think that's exactly what we'll see from Seattle all night.
And Seattle really getting upfield, putting a lot of pressure on the Pride defenders as they try to advance the ball forward.
I think interesting to note is the formation change, a little bit more attacking minded, keeping Jess behind the front 5 and making sure that she does her job and keeping them locked in so that they can live in Orlando's half.
Winters getting a quick touch on the ball, deflecting off of a Pride player. Here's Kim Little. Can really do some special things when she is on the ball, although that time well defended by Orlando. That ball played out in the area of Spencer, but Seattle once again with possession. And a quick switch out wide to Kelly Reed. There's Fishlock. A little off target that time as she was looking for Naho.
It's very early, but as you can see, you have Orlando trying to set up the switch of play. You have a player on the counterattack, transition position, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get out of Seattle's press at this moment.
Presley playing the ball out. And Spencer with it. Good pace for Jasmine Spencer. You need to keep an eye on her defensively.
I actually played against Spencer in Australia myself when I played for the Wanderers. She was playing for Sydney FC, and she has the ability to change a game in a moment. One ball over the top, misreading something, and she's in on goal. So they're going to have to be very careful with her in the transition.
And with Fields, Spencer playing more of a central role tonight, Tom Sermani's team will look for some direct play offensively to take advantage of that pace. See the foul against Seattle as Spencer hits the deck. Whitteman. And a little too strong that time as she was trying to find Birkenroad. You mentioned in our opening, it was a very good point regarding performance. Laura Harvey telling me that I think the same point she made to you was they need to focus on performance, not result. And maybe in recent weeks they were more concerned about the result because of the position that they are in the league table. Just focus on the performance and you're likely to get the result that you want, or at least giving you a better chance to get the result that you'd like to get.
And that's it, and trusting in the preparation and knowing that every week you put in the time, you scout the opponents, you're doing your due diligence, and you hope it comes together on the day. But to focus on the results is to take away the gift of the game.
Birkenroad, and taken away nicely by Naho.
What I like about what Seattle's doing is you have Merritt Mathias, whose best attribute is stretching the back line. So she'll take them back, and then you'll have nice players coming off the front like Manon and then Keelan in this case. So by her having that dynamic, I think they're going to find a lot of space in front of the defensive line.
Kendall Fletcher, this defensive line, speaking of, has really been outstanding for a good portion of this season. Lauren Barnes and Kendall Fletcher, Ellie Reed have all been here for a long time, and they bring Pickett into the mix. So really been one of the strong suits of this team this season.
I would agree with you there. I think, like we mentioned earlier, it takes a lot of time to find that chemistry, but because they've been long-term members of the club, I think they've already built those relationships, as you were saying. I agree with that. I think it's easy to kind of switch it up at times.
And even though you do not have Hope Solo and goal in Haley Kottmeyer, you have someone that has been with this team for an extended period. So they have confidence in her. She has confidence in that line as we have a goal kick coming up for the Pride.
And a big part, as you can see, goalkeepers' engagement in the game is mostly just communication, organizing, seeing the pictures, and making sure that the picture in front of them is what they want to see to deny opportunities. And Haley's going to be doing that all night, as she already is.
You can see Caitlin Savage shielding her eyes. She is getting a direct sun into her face, and this is something that Seattle, you want to try to take advantage of. That's one more issue that she has to deal with. Now that sun may also work against Seattle in the second half. We'll see how that plays out, but certainly something that could work in Seattle's favor as they push forward here.
Yes, absolutely. Good advantage for the first half to take that at the coin toss.
Kaylin Kyle, an alternate on the Canadian national team, a former player with the Reign. Good defense by Keelan Winters. Good recovery that time by Whitteman.
I think what Seattle's doing well at the moment is also making sure that they always have two players around the ball. There's back pressure as well. Great opportunity from the regain.
With a very nice find as she goes wide. Ball played back in the middle. Well defended by Presley as Mellis did not get the pass through that she was hoping to.
Seems like a key to Orlando's game tonight. As soon as they regain the ball, you're going to see Presley with her left foot, that dominant ability to switch 60 yards. She's going to be finding the far winger and that's going to be something that Seattle's going to have to shut down.
Nice crowd here this evening at Memorial Stadium on this Saturday night. Naho trying to run on to that pass from Mathias. Kaylin Savage joining this team just a few weeks ago, coming from playing in New Zealand in her first game right out of the gate against Boston. One of her first opportunities, not even really a classic save situation. She bobbled the ball coming out to slide, and ball bounces off her. It led to a very easy Boston goal, but she was picked up by her teammates, and I said to Tom Sermani today, what did you say to her at halftime? First game, she makes a blunder you rarely see, and he said, forget about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We move on, and she's been very good for them ever since. Good patience, Kawasumi. And the ball deflected out on the shot.
Fantastic defending, by the way. So as soon as a player like Naho slips behind, that ability to stick with her. See it again here.
Very nice pass by Kim Little. Naho using the head, getting by Whitteman, but that is a tremendous recovery by Samantha Whitteman.
Unbelievable tackle. That was well done.
Her pace certainly very much coming into play. They have saved her team a goal. Lauren Barnes, far post with that corner. And we have two players down in the box. This may have been some head-to-head contact. Player down for each squad. It looks like down for Orlando, Maddie Evans, and cannot quite pick up the player who is down for Seattle. Take another look at that. And there is the head-to-head contact. It's like Kendall Fletcher.
Yeah, looks like Fletch.
There's so much talk about, I'm not saying we're dealing with concussions here, but so much talk about concussions when people discuss the National Football League. But head injuries in your sport, it's an important issue.
It is, and I don't know if it's fully understood at the moment. I think the impact of heading at whatever age, impact like this, the long-term effects, we still don't know, I believe.
And it's usually in these head-to-head situations, head-to-head contact.
Yeah, any head trauma, no matter what it is, needs to be explored, and I think that they are taking it much more seriously now with their protocols and such, which is exactly the right thing. Right. There she goes.
Kendall shakes it off.
She's a tough one.
And it looks like Maddie Evans is going to be okay as well, so that's good news, although she may, looks like she's going to be escorted off to the sideline, so she may just get a closer look. Fletcher coming off as well, so 10v10 momentarily anyway between the Pride and the Reign as we're in the 11th minute here at Memorial Stadium in Seattle. Tom Sermani using the opportunity to talk with Maddie Evans, give her a little direction and just making sure that she's okay.
Little tactical timeout, why not?
Christopher Spivey, the referee, not getting exactly what he wanted right there, as Kaylin Kyle was a very nice gesture, just going to play it back to Seattle and let the Reign have at it.
Absolutely, right thing to do.
And we do it again. So here we go. Fishlock. Keelan Winters. And here's Fields. Seattle gets back defensively. And a very good job defensively that time by Lauren Barnes, who draws the foul from Fields. Lauren did a nice job putting her body between the ball and Fields.
It's nice to see that play, all the recovering Seattle runs. They had a huge block coming back behind, a deep block, and it's going to be really hard for Orlando to break down. Great recovery runs.
No chance for Kawasumi to get to that ball, played by Fletcher. Throw in for the Pride. Whitteman. And Fields trying to run onto it, able to keep it in. And a goal kick coming up for Haley Kopmeyer. We mentioned earlier that Haley, despite the ankle injury, really wanted to be in goal tonight with family in from Michigan. And not long after we mentioned that, we look down below us just a bit. We see about 5 people with Kopmeyer jerseys on.
They've got those made specifically for tonight, which is amazingly cute.
I go out on the limb and say those are her family members from Michigan here to cheer her on. So nice to have them in the house.
Yes. very much so. She's very close with the family, so this is a real treat.
Birkenroad. Nice find to Spencer. Can she get on the ball? Well played by Kopmeyer. Goal kick coming up for Orlando. Well, you can't get any closer to the action without being on the team. Join Reign FC on the pitch here at Memorial Stadium for your chance to meet players, watch warm-ups, and receive exclusive team signed gear. Kristen Edmonds to take the corner for Orlando. Kopmeyer getting a hand on it, but not cleared out cleanly. Here's Edmonds. Little and Birkenroad. Kaylin Kyle keeps it in. And a throw in for Orlando.
It's a good job by Orlando to keep the second phase going, and they got a second delivery in, which is always dangerous. Well done by both squads.
Throw in to Seattle.
We mentioned earlier there's going to be two teams out there fighting for points, and Orlando has already assumed a very high line and putting, now that they're able to put Seattle under the press, it's given them some trouble possessing out of the back. So it would be great to see if they can break this block.
And you may have also noticed we talked about Caitlin Savage and the sun issues she's dealing with right now with some very long shadows on this field. Well, really any player on the field, if the balls are played up high, a chance to really have to deal with that. Mellis, left-footed shot. And nicely positioned that time was Caitlin Savage.
And I think relative to what you just said, we're going to have to keep taking shots on Savage tonight just to test this first half.
Ellie Reed with a throw in. Winters trying to make the turn, and Kim Little almost able to control that ball, but Winters on the pass fouled by Maddie Evans, so free kick coming up for Seattle.
This game really is about inches. You see Jasmine Spencer basically just missing it just by a second in this part of the pitch, and then now Kim Little with a different little bit of a touch would have been in on goal there.
Kim Little very dangerous on the free kicks. We'll see if she in fact takes it, and you wonder from this distance with that sun in the face of Savage if she just might give a go at it.
We also have Barnesy with her left foot lined up, so that could also be another dangerous option.
And
Here
it's
it is.
Barnes.
Yep.
She goes low, and on one bounce, Savage right where she needs to be. Caitlin Savage played collegiately at Florida International. This is her third game with the Pride. Ashlyn Harris, their starter, with the national team as Hope Solo's backup ahead of Rio.
Great job for her to step in and do what she's doing as well. The first game that I had watched her play in was against Chicago, and I thought they did a really, really good job, and she kept really calm back there, which I think is what every back line needs.
Well played inside, and boy, Spencer nearly able to get on the end of that pass. Best threat probably that Orlando has had. Here's another one as Edwards' shot was deflected, and then Barnes doing a nice job to get it out of the 18. Kim Little being played aggressively and played well that time by Fields, and a throw in for the Pride.
What Orlando's doing here, and what I really admire and I think is going to work, is that they're taking away the attacking outlet in Merritt. And they have three players against her, and it's going to be very hard to outlet them. So it's going to have to be a little bit more of a possession or intricate play for Seattle to get out of their half.
So Tom Sermani before the game talking about some of his keys, and one of which was control Seattle's midfield. Don't let that midfield dominate so far. Has that mission been accomplished?
I would say so. I think there's been a couple moments where they've broke through, but overall it's been a pretty even match.
Evans. Weatherholt. Nice play. Whitteman. Blocked by Reed. Presley. Spencer was onside. Nice job using the body by Keelan Winters. There's Kim Little. Matthias. Good find out to Naho. And it results in a corner for Seattle. Not the service that Naho was looking for, but in the end, an opportunity for the second corner in this match for the Reign.
And a testament to Orlando as well, blocking those crosses. I think they're very aware of her skill set to be able to deliver a ball and a dime, and I'm sure it was a priority in their prep for this game.
Winters going up, unable to get a head on it. Pickett. Kawasumi, the quick touch. Reign player down, and a foul called, and referee Christopher Spivey pointing at the spot. We'll see who this foul is against, but a penalty kick coming up for Seattle. And taken down from behind. It looked like it was Kendall Fletcher taken down, and it was Danny Weatherholt, number 17, who committed the foul.
It's a big play for the Reign. Carson doing the right thing, dumping the ball back like we talked about for that second phase, and Fletch, as she does, puts her body on the line and gets the Reign this pivotal moment.
Little challenge here for Savage, and Kim Little finds the corner of the net in the 21st minute, 1-0 Seattle. And that is a very good sign for the Reign. Unbeaten this season when scoring first, 3 victories and 1 draw.
And probably a huge relief for Kim. Like I mentioned earlier in our broadcast, I do believe that this could be a floodgate mentality opening moment for her, just to go ahead and get some more.
And for Kim Little, her 4th goal on the season. Seattle at home this season. 3 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 4, 4, and 5. 17 points entering in. Orlando, real challenge for this squad, has been on the road this season. Just 1 victory outside of Orlando with 5 losses. The only team in the league without a tie this season. They have that distinction with 6 victories and 7 losses.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be important to take advantage of every last minute of their home games. They do have a wonderful support base here, and they do seem to play comfortably and a lot better at home.
Let's see how Orlando responds. Winters. Matthias drawing a defender. Had wanted to get it out to Kawasumi. And Winters gets it right back, taking it away from Whitteman. That's Kawasumi. Good first touch. The shot. That's just how dangerous Naho can be.
Loving the subtleties of Naho's positioning, the ability to play on the outside shoulder of that fullback, for her to lose her for a second and then cut on that inside. And that's exactly the space that fullback wanted to defend. So she definitely lost her in a moment. And that's a testament to Naho's movement and subtlety and timing.
Very nice pass to Kawasumi from Kim Little. So many ways that Kim Little can hurt you on the field. And that's just one example. Fishlock. Carson Pickett. Fishlock goes wide to Reed. Nellis. Kawasumi. Well defended that time by Orlando. And that was Weatherholt looking for some redemption after committing that foul that led to the goal on the penalty kick.
We did highlight Keelan earlier in the match and said she was going to be a player to watch. And what I love about what she's doing is not only covering the ground that she always does, just box to box, but I love her in a higher position. We've seen her in a defensive role for the Reign, but she's very much capable and dangerous to play ahead of the ball. And I think she's doing a wonderful job. What a link tonight. It's going to be nice to see her connect with the front line a little bit more.
Good stretch of possession right here for Seattle. Good ball by Fishlock out to Pickett. Matthias. And Kyle playing it back to Savage.
It's nice to see those bouts of possession and changing up the tempo so that this game doesn't become super transitional. It's nice to know just valuing, moving the block, letting Orlando put in the miles and the steps, and then taking advantage of the right time to penetrate. I do like their game plan at the moment.
A very nice ball to Little, and Kim with space. Taking the shot, going wide to Kawasumi, again with plenty of room. Naho, shot! Saved or deflected, it was hard to tell from our angle. The shot by Little, I'm not sure if Savage got a hand on it or it was deflected by a defender before it got to the goal area. We'll take another look at it.
Oh, definitely deflected by a defender.
And then Matthias with
ready
an
for the rebound, yeah.
opportunity and a corner for Seattle. Lauren Barnes, near post. Oh, a very dangerous opportunity that time as Orlando dodges a bullet.
What a great delivery to that near post. Perfect timing on the runs. Just missed it by an inch, just there.
And Naho coming over to take this corner. And you see number 6, Kaylin Kyle, making note of Keelan Winters in her position. Very good player in the air in this situation. Ball punched away by Savage. And cleared out for a Seattle throw-in.
I think the longer that Seattle can deny service into Orlando's front players is going to be their key to success for this half. To keep the score 1-0, to defend that lead, they really have to deny the service into the strikers.
Winters splitting 2 defenders. Mellis. Reed going wide to Naho. Kawasumi, left-footed service, defended well by the Pride. And another Seattle throw-in. Reign FC matches are great for your next corporate outing or team activity. Ticket discounts are available for groups of 15 or more. Call 855-REIGN-FC for more information. Now, Seattle fans would have loved another PK that time, but no call, and probably the right call that time. The right non-call.
You have Merritt as a dynamic forward. She's also very good at back to goal, so you're going to see that kind of confrontation.
Winters, nice control. And defended that time by Savage. The ball last touched by Keelan Winters, so a goal kick for the Pride. Another dangerous opportunity for Seattle. And again, the service from Kim Little.
Like you mentioned, her vision and awareness is second to none.
Tammy Levin relieved that that didn't result in a goal. Matthias fouled, or will it be a throw-in?
It's going to be a good battle
Foul.
tonight, Presley
Yeah.
and Matthias. I think they're both combative type style players, and I think it's going to be about maybe who gets it right and who gets it wrong.
Tony Presley, like Carson Pickett, a former Florida State Seminole. Kawasumi on the free kick. Good ball whipped in. Winters nearly getting ahead on it. The shot and the goal! Jess Fishlock.
Unbelievable. What a strike.
What a strike by Fishlock for her first goal this season.
Amazing to see. She's just opportunistic, kind of reacted a little quicker than the rest. Deep block by Orlando, so that was incredible that she was able to get there first. Can't take your eye off Jess in the box, that's for sure.
Really no chance for Caitlin Savage. That left foot. Terrific angle, terrific power, and a 2-0 Seattle lead as Fishlock finds the back of the net in the 30th minute.
Seattle Reagan FC, second goal of the night, scored in the 30th minute by number 10, Jessica Fishlock.
I tell you what, that is a huge sigh of relief for Jess Fishlock. Remember the best 11 squad in the league last season. She had 8 goals, has had some injury issues this season, but finally breaks through with her first goal.
Definitely great to see her. She's back in form. She's dangerous in both sides of the ball, as she always is. And I think this really, like you said, a sigh of relief for sure. But they will not take their foot off the gas, I think, at this point. They're going to be pumping for goals for sure.
15th goal this season for Seattle. And the Reign playing as if they're not satisfied with the 2-0 lead. Let's see how the Pride respond here. Excellent defense that time by Fishlock as he just stripped the ball away from Spencer. A nice little shove from behind. Maybe a little frustration there by Birkenroad as Reed is down.
Definitely different
Nothing
ways.
subtle about it, right?
Nothing subtle about that. Different ways to impose yourself on the game. Definitely frustration in that moment from Orlando.
Mentioned Birkenroad and Weatherholt getting the starts this evening ahead of Sarah Hagan and Becky Edwards. So players that Tom Sermani may be turning to in the second half to bring on. We'll see. Now facing this 2-0 deficit.
I agree. I think a lot of the rationale potentially with having a little bit of a really fast up dynamic front line would have been for the delivery in behind, but Seattle's not conceding. It's very hard to turn them.
And saved that time by Savage as Mellis got in. What a terrific job by Kawasumi, showing the patience, just reading the defense, and then finally making a really pinpoint pass.
Yeah, her vision and awareness as well. It's unbelievable. But I like what you said about maybe making those halftime switches with Hagan being a little bit more of a target striker. They may be able to actually hold some balls up, and as they're not being able to turn the Seattle back line, it may be a good switching tactic, actually.
Nice job by Fields to get the ball back. Whitteman. Kaylin Kyle playing it back to her keeper. Obviously, you know Kaylin Kyle very well.
Very
Both
well, yes. One of my best friends, yes.
Together on the Canadian national squad. Kaylin with 101 caps, 6 goals, and her national team career for Canada. And again, an alternate for the Rio Games.
Yes, we've spent a lot of time together. We've seen each other through it all, truly. And it's great to see her still in the mix with the Canadian team. She'll be ready to go if need be. And I think she's opted to stay here and get these valuable minutes with her club and stay ready for that selection if need be.
More of a natural midfielder, but obviously the versatility. She can play in the midfield, play that back line as well. Do you think she's better at one spot or the other, or equal
we
at
joke
both?
about this all the time. She always says, oh, less to deal with as a center back, and I obviously tend to argue. But at the end of the day, yeah, she's suited for both. Her skill set's great, and she's a leader and a communicator, and I think those are vital for both positions. So I like her as a center back personally. I think she does a great job.
So good opportunity here with Edmonds on the ball. Off the Seattle wall. Look at Fishlock just really going out strong against Presley, and then Fletcher with a header to get it out of the 18. Here's Winters. Seattle looking for a chance to try to counter.
I've mentioned this before in my last time I was broadcasting, but with regards to Seattle's back line, what I love is that they're proactive defenders. They don't just clear the ball to clear the ball. As you saw from Kendall there, connected with Keelan. It's such a huge part, and it's just not about getting rid of it or getting it into less dangerous space. It's about making a play out of it, and Seattle does that very well. Sometimes those things are a little bit missed, those little details, and they're very good.
Evans, good ball up to Spencer. 1v1 with Fletcher. And Fletcher with a stop. Spencer going down, but good non-call there. Throw in for Seattle.
See a lot of times when teams are trying to switch the ball, they go directly for that diagonal, straight from one end of the pitch or one side of the pitch to the other. Typically, it takes one more pass to shift the play, and as you can see, there's a lot of giveaways from those direct platforms. So I think it's about definitely increasing the ability to switch through the midfield.
Fishlock, the find of Little. Spencer chasing down Fletcher. You see Kendall come all the way up from that back line. Fans, mark your calendar now for the 2016 National Women's Soccer League Championship on Sunday, October 9th at BBVA Compass Stadium in Houston. Be there to support our league, support our game, and hopefully support our team. Tickets for the NWSL Championship game are on sale now at nwslchampionship.com with prices starting at $20. Start making plans now to be in Houston for the NWSL Championship. Seattle part of the last 2 championship matches. No! Looking to make it 3-0 and was going for the finesse play that time, but could not beat Savage.
You know, again, we see Naho finding that great positioning on her fullback, on her mark, and you would expect nothing less than a really intelligent, thoughtful finesse finish from her, and that almost worked.
And again, the pass from Kim Little. That's certainly going to be a point of emphasis, I would think, for Tom Sermani at halftime one.
Stop the service.
We can't stop the service, and we're giving too much room to Naho.
Absolutely. It takes an extra level of detail to be really aware of Naho and really mark her properly.
Kottmeyer coming out. Great play defensively that time by Kendall Fletcher, as Kottmeyer was well out of the goal area, caught out of position as she went for a save, and Kendall Fletcher.
She needs to be acknowledged for that.
And Haley again with a bad left ankle. That may have slowed her ability to get out to that ball. And what a tremendous job by Kendall Fletcher.
That's something that you can't necessarily train, that instinct, and to defend the goal line. I thought she, again, showing her class with a decision like that.
Off the head of Kyle, who was unhappy with the rough treatment she received from Mara Mathias, but a goal kick for Koppmeyer.
I think it'll be important for, at any point in a game, you know, you're down 2 goals, to keep your composure, to keep playing, keep process like we keep talking about, and maybe try to get a little advantage with the ref. I see what she was doing there.
Haley Koppmeyer, just a terrific testament to perseverance.
Yes.
Everything that she has earned in this league through a lot of determination on her part. She really had to fight through some early adversity to stick with the Seattle team and try to find a place in this league. And look, we all know who the #1 keeper is here, but when you just look at the numbers that she has put up and her opportunities, they're really right there with Hope Solo.
She's doing
now,
her
I'm
job.
not saying she's as good as Hope Solo.
I
Hope may be the best
no.
in the world, but I think it's a testament to her ability.
Correct. And I would say that. I would say she's fulfilled the role when need be, and that's what you hope for from any of the players coming off the bench. You want them to be able to step in and do their best to not be many dips in performance. And highlighting what you said, statistically, she is showing that, yes.
Although she made mom and dad and the rest of the family nervous going out to get that one ball, she got the support from her teammate.
That's right.
Throw in for Seattle from Little. Pick it into the 18, Naho. And under some duress, Orlando just playing it out to reset defensively. Reed with a throw in. And on Nellis off of her head, goal kick for the Pride. So 5 minutes roughly remaining in this opening half, obviously for the goal for Seattle, not to allow anything of any nature that would give Orlando some momentum heading in to the locker room. Keep this margin at 2-0, if not add to it.
I agree. I think it's as much about not conceding as it is about keeping possession and gaining and feeling like they had momentum going into the second half. That's the mental game of soccer also, to know we had possession, we were in control, and we're going to come out and do the same thing again second half.
Presley getting ahead on it. Kyle plays it out wide to Levin.
Be interesting to see if they bring Becky Edwards back in. She's a possession player. She's somebody that's going to allow Orlando to not go as direct as they're going at the moment, and perhaps bring some passing back into the game.
Keelan Winters putting Spencer down. And Jasmine Spencer still on the turf, holding her midsection, and is finally back up. Boy, what a save by Reed. And between the legs that time, the pass from Kawasumi. Winters plays it out wide. Here's Pickett coming up from that left back position. Mathias with a left foot. And too strong. Goal kick.
That has to be one of the best series of the game, not only because it was a little bit risky, obviously, with this pass here, but got a final act off. It would have been great to see someone connect with Merritt's cross, but what an excellent switch of play and a little bit of flair as well.
We like the flair.
We like that. I think this team brings the flair for sure.
Kawasumi. Nellis with the left foot. The shot well done in terms of the positioning by Caitlin Savage. She's getting a little more shade now in her goal area. That sun.
Yeah, sun
less
not as
of
much
an
of a
issue.
factor. You're right.
Direct ball to Spencer. Edmonds. Here's Evans. Not going to be the goalie off, and from about 30 yards as you're falling backward, you really don't get the momentum into that shot that you need.
Absolutely, yeah. Would have been maybe good to combine there. But again, mentality-wise, excellent. Maybe trying to get something going, get some shots on goal.
Wear what the pros wear. Pick up the new 2016 jersey for men, women, or kids. We have hundreds of Reign FC items to choose from. Head over to the ReignFCshop.com.
Really liking what Laura did with the formation tonight, putting a lot more players ahead of the ball, being able to press their serving ability, and I think it's really working for them. I haven't seen much sustained possession in the Seattle's half, so I think it was an excellent game plan, and you see Jess being able to do what we said she was going to do, which was keep everyone connected.
And again, certainly worth pointing out, and not to take away from anything Seattle has done, but the 4 defensive starters for this Orlando team out of the mix. To Seattle's credit, they've been exploiting that. And that foul
in a variety of ways as well.
Road.
Yes.
Explain that.
Yeah, there's been some build-up, some combination play, switches of play. Also that one moment where you see, or a couple moments where you saw Naho getting behind. So there's a variety in the service and how they're affecting the back line. And they're playing what the game's presenting and having those tools to be able to do that. It's pretty impressive.
In the 45th minute, Seattle with a 2-0 lead. Goals from Kim Little on a penalty kick, and in the run of play from Jess Fishlock. Presley taken away by Little. Mellis, patience, and just did not get that pass out wide enough for Kim Little. Defended well by Kaylin Kyle.
Excellent cover provided there, and as your center back commits, you need to have that security that your other center back partner is going to give you, provide you that cover, and she did a good job.
1 minute of added time here in the first half. Little is onside, and Seattle with a corner kick coming up, an opportunity to really deliver a crushing blow here in the latter stages of the first half.
They're going to have to keep their eye. Yes, sorry. Yeah, they're going to have to keep their eye on Fletcher again. She just seems hungry tonight in the box.
Winner's trying to get ahead on it. Here's Mellis. About 10 seconds remaining in the half. Kawasumi knew she was offside, so had to lay off that ball. And we'll see if we get the goal kick played out, and that is it. An exceptional first half for the Seattle Reign as the whistle blows. 2-0 Seattle. Again, the goals from Fishlock. The first goal coming in the 21st minute from Kim Little. Good to have you with us here from Seattle. We'll have more coverage coming your way from Memorial Stadium.
The NWSL Championship is coming to Houston this October. So what's that mean? Here's your guide to the NWSL Championship in just 60 seconds by me, Melissa Henderson. The National Women's Soccer League is the top women's soccer league in the United States, featuring 69 national team players from around the world, including 37 Olympians and 19 members of the World Cup winning United States women's national team. Houston was pre-selected as the 2016 NWSL Championship host city. America's top 2 professional teams will meet in Houston for the NWSL Championship. It's the end of the line for pro women's soccer playoffs, and it's all going down in H-Town. So here's how it works. There's 10 teams in the NWSL. Top 4 teams in the regular season standings make it to playoffs, with the higher seed teams hosting each semifinal match, and the final 2 face off for the chance to lift the trophy. Support women's pro soccer and join us at BBVA Compass Stadium to see who will be crowned this year's champion. Sunday, October 9th at BBVA Compass Stadium. Get your tickets now at bbvacompassstadium.com.
Halftime in Seattle, 2-0. The Reign leading Orlando. At each regular season game this season, Reign FC will honor one woman as a Seattle Reign FC legend in recognition of her extraordinary contributions in our community and beyond. The Legends campaign is a partnership between Reign FC and Chihuly's studio to celebrate the extraordinary achievements of the Reign FC legends. Dale Chihuly crafted the Reign Royal Blue Piccolo Venetian, which will be symbolically presented to each Reign FC legend. And today's Seattle Reign FC legend is Amy Griffin. Amy is the associate head coach for the University of Washington women's soccer team, a goalkeeper coach for the United States Under-20 women's national team, and the head coach of the United States Deaf women's national team that just returned from Italy after winning their second straight Deaf World Cup. For joining the University of Washington staff in 1996, Griffin coached at the University of New Mexico, San Diego State, Santa Clara, and Central Florida. Amy has spent many years working with various youth national teams, including serving as a coach and mentor to former Husky goalkeeper and current Reign keeper Hope Solo. And Griffin also a member of the U.S. women's national team from 1987 to 1991, a historic squad that won the first ever FIFA Women's World Cup in 1991. Today we recognize Amy Griffin as a Seattle Reign FC legend for a lifetime of work growing the women's game in the United States and beyond. In addition to all of that, an occasional broadcaster with us as well. So Amy Griffin really does do it all. Congratulations to Amy Griffin. Again, here at halftime, Seattle 2, Orlando 0. Seattle Reign FC legend is Amy Griffin.
But I have my whole family here. So my mum, my dad, overlooking my family. I have a lot. I have a compass. So the compass is the Pirates of the Caribbean Jack Sparrow compass. Because I love, one, I love Johnny Depp, and I love those films. But two, because like that compass it's not like north or south. It takes you to whatever you want most at that particular time. You know, and for me, I kind of feel that that is what my life is. I kind of go with what I want to do and what I want to achieve and how to be successful. And, you know, it's never necessarily about, you know, right or wrong or what is good or what I should do. It's always been on what I want most. And that's why my life has always been what it's been, like a traveler's life and following football, because that is ultimately what I've always wanted. And I think this one goes with it, you know, like not all those who wander are lost, but it very much goes with the same thing as a compass, you know, like I do travel all the time and sometimes it gets hard and you're on your own and, you know, you miss your family, but, you know, I never feel like I'm lost. I always know that there's a purpose to what I'm doing. My actual first experience of a soccer camp was a Meaham one. I was 7, and I only went because my sister wanted to go. And she didn't want to go on her own, so my mum kind of made me go, you know, with my sister. I fell in love, you know. I truly did just fall in love with the game and just went from there, really. Ever since that moment, then it was always just football for me. My mum says and my dad say that there came a point where they knew. And my brother says that he always knew, but I actually didn't. But what I knew was that it was something that I really wanted. And so I just had to find my path, you know, and it wasn't going to be an easy one because there was no path back then, you know. It wasn't like it is here, back home, and it certainly wasn't like that now. And there was no path. I kind of just had to find my own and make my own. And I did, and, you know, it wasn't easy, but the things that you really want never actually tend to be that easy. My main inspiration was my mum, and I know that's quite cliche, but you know, I kind of look back and see how she did what she did with all of us, and we've all grown up into what I would like to think of good people. You know, she kind of brought us up the right way, have right morals, and you know, things like that. And I always tried to just be a good person, and that came from her, you know. And I think that's one of the most important things that there is in life is to be a good person. Yeah, I started my career in Holland, loved it. Best decision I think I've ever made. I relearned the game in Holland, you know. I played in England and had learned the game by myself, really, just by watching and watching the Premier League and, you know, speaking to my brothers. I just had to learn the game myself because, you know, the league in England at that point was terrible. So then I moved to Holland and just had to rip my game to shreds and just have a blank piece of paper and start again. And I stayed there for 3 years, and then I felt that I'd learned a lot and could go somewhere else, but I truly loved my time in Holland. What it did make me realize I could go anywhere and I would be okay. You know, you always think, you know, I can't do this. And the hardest thing in the world is to feel like you can't do something but keep doing it. It's you know, it's one of the most difficult feelings that you have to try and deal with yourself, you know, that you're just like, I can't do this. But you just, you know, every day you've just got to get up and you've got to keep trying. But yeah, that definitely made me feel that I could do whatever I wanted to do, you know. So I overcame all that, really.
First of all, how did the move to Seattle come about?
Basically, I just had a email and a phone call from Laura Harvey, who's obviously the manager at Seattle.
Yeah, to be honest, like I had just done a guest stint in Australia, and I was supposed to go back to England and play. And then we were just chatting, and then I just had to refresh my emails. Harvey, do you want to come and play for the Reign? I didn't even think. I started laughing out loud. My friends were like, no way. I was like, oh, I'm done. I was like, I'll see you later. Just literally messaged Harvey back and was like, yeah. You know, you're just starting off. You know, you walk in there and the whole training kit is out and it's hung up for you, and you're just like, yeah, this is it now. This is it. This is where we work, and this is where we try and achieve what we want to achieve. It's just, you know, it's a surreal moment, but one of the best moments for sure. It was a toss-up between being absolutely amazing and absolutely brutal.
Rolling dangerous, nearly near the top of the 18, taking touch after touch as Lauren Cheney feeds a smart ball over to Erica Timrak, and a ball in, and that's a very, very rare miscue from Hope Solo.
And those were the kind of things that you had to deal with yourself on a daily basis, was just the harsh reality of what you were going through. Doubting yourself, asking questions of yourself that you've never, ever asked, you know. But I will say that as much as it was a trying time, and it really was, you know, I still stand by the fact that between 18 yards and 18 yards, we played some of the best football we've even played over the last 4 years. And I stand by that, and the girls that are here, you know, we say that too. Sometimes, you know, when we play bad, and obviously we're struggling a little bit now, you know, we're like, we played some unbelievable stuff that first season. We just couldn't score a goal. And I think that is what always got us through ultimately what was an extremely testing, mentally draining, mentally challenging year. But equally what it gave us as a club is a huge starting point. And although it wasn't a successful year, I think it became a successful period for them, what it then made us become.
Good afternoon and welcome to Seattle and Memorial Stadium, home of the Seattle Reign, for this National Women's Soccer League season opener for both the Reign and the Western New York Flag. Little ball. Go! Oh, what a ball! What a goal! Jess Fishlock, ball played into the box, first time side of the foot to the back post. Goal, Reign! Little's onside. Looking back post. He got her! Goal, Seattle Reign! Jess Fishlock at the 91-minute mark!
From Jordan Field in Boston, it's time for NWSL Soccer. It's the Boston Breakers home opener as they play host to Seattle Reign FC.
Almost a very similar game to last week when Boston was in Washington.
Oh, Jessica Fishlock is down and injured.
I've not had a very good 2016. So it's not been a hugely successful year for me with regards to that. But in saying that, like, my rehab has been good. I'm still figuring out my body right now, and so what I've been trying to do is obviously be here and play for the Reign, but also do the training that was necessary, you know. So I've been juggling that to get me back to match fitness and my level, and I genuinely believe that I'm there or thereabouts right now, which I'm really excited for, you know, because it's going to be a really important part of the season, really. The next couple of weeks, and then end of August, September. You know, I believe that come these games now, I will be back to my best, and I'm excited for that. You know, there's nothing worse than trying and knowing that you're still at 1% or a 2% not there. And you know, so yeah, I feel good. Honestly, I do. I've enjoyed my rehab. I've enjoyed what we're doing here and how we're working, and I've enjoyed the challenge a little bit of how we get from where we are to where we want to get to. You know. I'm quite fiery. I understand that. My teammates understand that. And I just think it just links in, you know, like the Welsh flag as a dragon, and we're extremely passionate people. You know, everything that the kind of dragon whole thing represents too, you know, they're very, very protective animals too, you know, and I think that's what we are too, you know. I love this club, I love these girls, you know, and I will protect them too. Like, we're family, like there's no other way to say it. And
well, she really is an inspiring player, Jess Fishlock, as we get the second half underway here in Seattle. A 2-0 Reign lead with Carmelina Moscato. I'm Tom Glasgow. And one of the things she said near the end of that piece, that she enjoyed her rehab. If you play this sport long enough, you better try to find enjoyment in rehab, because odds are you'll be going through it every now and then.
Right, and if you're playing as hard as she is, you're going to be going through some injuries from time to time. But I think what makes Jess special is her professionalism surrounding this sport. It genuinely is her laser focus, her sole focus, to be the best she can possibly be for the clubs that she's playing for, and it shows in her quality.
We talk about her effort in game. You were a teammate of hers and I've seen this, her effort in training. Talk about the intensity she just brings to a pitch in a training situation.
You know, it's funny you see, I believe the intensity is perfect for the moment. She knows how to turn it on. She knows when she needs to just be a bit more of an organizer, and that's what allows her to play for 90 minutes. Sustained energy is the ability for her to turn it on at the right time, and that is a very hard skill. That's an art.
Some of the numbers from the first half, it'll kind of support why Seattle has this 2-0 advantage. Total shots, Seattle 12, Orlando 5. Crosses, Seattle 6, Orlando just 1. And corner kicks, Seattle 4 and Orlando 2. And Seattle with the 3-0 lead as Manon Mellis finds the net. Some communication breakdown there possibly, or maybe just a blown play. We'll take another look at it, but just that fast, Seattle may have sealed the deal here tonight now with the 3-0 lead. That goal coming in the 47th minute from Manon Mellis, her third of the year.
Service from Kim, like we talked about, and just a great positioning, great spot to be for Manon there, and
you saw
simple finish for sure.
Savage going for the ball, but then Levin heads it away, but headed it
as
right
a defender,
to Manon Mellis.
Totally, it's tough as a defender. You know, you do want to hear the big voice from it. You couldn't hear from here if Savage did call for that or not, and that's the second of difference. It's going to win or lose you a game for sure.
Manon Mellis, the all-time goal scorer for Netherlands. And Seattle now with a lead that you would think, unless Orlando really gets that goal back here in short order, looks to be insurmountable this evening. Not only that they have the lead, Carm, but the quality of play that they are showing tonight, the performance that we talked about, the performance more so than the result.
That's right, and I do think if they get an early goal here, then Seattle's going to have to really step it up, and I feel like this game is really very much about momentum, and anything's possible, to be honest, in this next half, and maybe a goal here by Orlando could help build that momentum.
As we take a quick look out on the field for both teams, I don't see any changes that either squad made during halftime.
Yeah.
Attendance here tonight, 4,807. So a nice crowd on a sunny Saturday evening in Seattle, where summer has been late arriving, but we're about ready to head into a very nice stretch of weather here in the great Northwest. And that time, Merritt Mathias launching from about 35 yards. Fletcher goes out wide to Ellie Reed. Kawasumi. So let's talk about the challenge, though, Carm, for the team with that 3-0 advantage, 3-0 advantage. You know, that you don't want to take your foot off the gas, but you don't want to expose yourself. So what are some of the things you look for to make sure you're playing at a level you need to play at?
Yeah, I think it's a risk management. You know, what is the actual purpose of this game for the Seattle team? They've solidified a great lead, but now I think it's going to be about getting more goals. I don't believe that they're going to stop. There's nothing in this season that said, you know what, we're having a good performance, let's reward ourselves for all the good work. And like Jess Fishlock said in the halftime interview, it's not like they're not playing good football.
Yeah.
It's now about rewarding the efforts, and I can't see them stopping anytime soon. So you're going to see tons of numbers committed forward like right now, but they will definitely lock up the transition, which they're doing a great job with numbers.
That ball may have been intended for Keelan Winters. The pass from Naho as Mellis got a foot on it, but Seattle maintains possession, taken away. Good defense that time by Levin. And the foul committed by Mathias. And quickly played forward to Fields. Can she get on to it? Defended by Fletcher.
Great job by Orlando to switch up the tempo, not to allow the Reign to feel settled in that moment. And it may take a moment like that to break through this solid defense.
Speaking with Laura Harvey, very complimentary toward this Orlando squad. Says, you know, they're really, you know, in many ways a lot like us. They try to do things the right way. They've been a bit unlucky this season. But for an expansion team, to still be in the position that they are in, and this would be a very tough loss in terms of postseason chances. But the big picture is it's been a very good one for Orlando as Spencer runs onto that ball.
I would agree. I think their impact on the league has been very positive. Like you mentioned earlier, they have a great fan base. They have the numbers coming out and supporting, and they've been a positive addition to in terms of their performances as well.
Yeah,
the results haven't gone their way, but
not seeing 6 of their starters tonight, and that would include Alex Morgan. We haven't really talked about Alex, of course, one of the most dynamic forwards in all of women's soccer with the U.S. squad. And I was talking with Coach Sermani before the game about Alex. I think how she's been playing for it. She was good. She's been working. He's never seen her work as hard as she has worked this season. And when your star does that, that really sends a non-verbal message to the rest of the team about the commitment, the effort it takes, and a goal for Orlando by Spencer. Just that fast. The Pride back in it.
Talked about this. This could be the reason that Orlando gets straight back into this game, and it's really about those inches. She got on the inside shoulder of, I think, Fletcher in this moment. And again, solid defender, not off. It doesn't happen too often, but the determination by Spencer there was phenomenal.
Assist to Fields, very nice pass by Jamia Fields. And again, the pace, timing, anticipation, all there by Jasmine Spencer, who has her 3rd goal of the season. She was the number 4 pick in the expansion draft from Western New York, played collegiately at the University of Maryland, and puts her squad back in the game.
Yeah, Spencer's a very, very fun player to watch. She has the element of surprise. She comes alive at the right moments, and she's always a threat for the back line. You cannot take your eye off her.
Goal kick from Savage. Presley with the header. Fishlock with one of her own. Little. The more Seattle sees of Kim Little on the ball, the better it usually is for this Reign squad. We'll see how involved Kim can be here in the second half. Very involved in the first half with the first goal of the match on the penalty kick, and numerous occasions with some very nice passes to Kawasumi in some very dangerous situations.
Yeah. It's just exciting to see the way that Kim is able to have different varieties in her passes. She's able to layer a ball in, to texture it in, to allow it to just sit perfectly for her teammates, and that's what makes her special. She has so many tools, and she pulls them out all at the right time.
For example, the footwork that we
go.
saw.
Thanks, Kim. Thanks for that.
One of the great things about Kim as well, when you come to a training, always one of the last players off the pitch.
Just loves the game. Definitely is still a kid about it, as you hope to be, you know, in your professional career. It's definitely what keeps her fresh. She loves being on the ball.
Okay. Ellie Reed committing the foul, as you will see. Cammie Levin taken down from behind. Well, you can't get any closer to the action without being on the team. Join Reign FC on the pitch here at Memorial Stadium for your chance to meet players, watch warm-ups, and receive exclusive team signed gear, the VIP experience.
Talked about this in the first half, but I think that it's great to see that Orlando now is sustaining possession. They're incorporating a lot more passes, and it's going to keep them pumping, and also move this really tight Seattle team. You have to move the ball to allow them to get that fatigue and take advantage of those gaps that you create. This is much better from Orlando.
Kyle. Now Presley up ahead looking for Levin, defended by Reed. A very good job by Ellie Reed that time. Kawasumi with some space and plays the ball long. Onside is Mellis. Manon Mellis. Can she get a second goal this half? And the defense that time, well done for Orlando. As Mellis was looking for the foul, it was Whitteman who made the clutch play. And Seattle will have a corner.
That play was as much about the textured pass from Naho, that weighted pass, well weighted just to arrive on the foot, as much about her counter movement. She lost her defender in a step. She stepped with her. She showed, and she went. And that's always hard to defend.
You saw Whitteman clearly getting her foot on the ball before making contact with Mellis. Barnes. Header, goal, Fletcher! Terrific service, and why not a backflip or two? 4-1 Seattle. So Orlando responding to the 3-0 deficit, but the Reign coming right back in the 57th minute. Barnes the assist, Fletcher off the head for the goal.
We talked about this earlier. You have to watch Fletch in the box. She's hungry tonight. She beat her player to the front post, and in fact, tough finish because she was outside the frame of the goal, so she actually had to deflect the ball back across. Not an easy technique. Great job by Fletch.
Well, that time it was Presley. I don't know if Presley had that assignment on Fletcher. Whoever didn't do it well, because Kendall Fletcher gets in for her first goal of the season. She has started every match this year. And boy, I think a little excitement shown with those backflips as well.
I don't mean to be biased, but it's always great to see defenders and center backs getting in there and making a splash.
Okay to be biased. All right.
Can't help it in this case.
Well, terrific work. Lauren Barnes getting the assist. Unofficially her second this season. Well, this is the type of offensive performance I think the Reign have really been looking for all season long.
I always love to see a response from Orlando or any team that's down. They're going to step up, be present, have a high line, and impose themselves. As soon as you start to see a team retreat, you start to realize, oh, perhaps they're getting a bit tired or they've lost their momentum or competitive edge. So it's great to see Orlando still kicking and being high with their aggressive high line. It's great.
Presley committing the foul on Mellis. It is Manon.
Happy birthday, Jacqueline, from the Seattle Reign FC.
You mentioned the fact that Megan Rapinoe, Hope Solo, not with the team, currently with U.S. Women's National Squad, that in its final Olympic tune-up last night in Kansas City, a 4-0 victory over Costa Rica. Crystal Dunn, Kristen Press, Carly Lloyd, and 18-year-old Mallory Pugh with goals last night. Hope Solo with a very strong performance again in goal as she delivers another shutout for the American squad. Obviously the favorites heading into those Rio games, and obviously they would love to follow up that World Cup victory in your home country last season with Olympic gold in Rio.
I think the most exciting part about this upcoming Olympics is that the gap has closed.
Yeah.
The U.S. is by far the favorites. They are by far, the team to beat. There is absolutely no doubt. There are a lot of teams coming out that are going to put up a good fight, and I think every tournament that you see on the world stage has become tighter and tighter, and you always have room for the dark horse, and I think us in 2012, that's what you really saw. It was a team that had arguably no business. Internally we wanted to be on that podium, but we had a lot of luck and a lot of great moments to get us there and a lot of hard work, and I think the Canadian team this year will have that chance and some others too, so I'm excited to see how this turns out.
Where do you keep your bronze medal, by the way?
Just in my room. By my nightstand up there.
There you go.
Nowhere special.
Good job defensively by Levin and Spencer that time on Reed. I think it's a great point you make. It's great to see the women's game at the international level strengthening. While the U.S. is the favorite, yes, but there's Japan, there's Germany, there's France, Canada, Brazil on its home turf. In many respects, in terms of which three teams are going to be on that podium when all is said and done, it's really hard to say for sure. And that's great for the sport.
It's becoming a lot less easier to predict. So We're going to see a wonderful tournament, and I can't wait to watch.
Of course, Tom Sermani, a former coach of the U.S. women's team. Little chipping it out wide to Mellis. Manon sending it in. Naho on the back end. And she's got a lot of space to work with to track that ball down. She'll let it go out to throw in for Seattle.
I'm by no means an attacking player, and just seeing Kim get the ball in front of a back line with time and space, I would love to see her shoot the ball a little bit more. She has such a passer by nature, a giver, but at the end of the day, I think it would be great. I think she would be able to get one tonight if she was just willing to pull the trigger just a little bit more.
You know, I think it's a great point because it's one of the really interesting things about this sport. There is a time, you rarely hear selfishness being promoted as a positive element, but there are times when it really is key.
As an attacker,
you really have to be.
And she's earning the positioning, and that's the difference. It's just now a matter of that a little decision-making difference.
Barnes with the left foot again, and again in the area. Fletcher laid out by the Pride. Matthias, and now Mellis. Pickett, nice switch to find Naho. Very good pass by Carson. You see the ability on the ball of Kawasumi. Good job by Kendall Fletcher, really doing it at both ends tonight. And not only was her goal really outstanding stuff, but if you joined us late, she saved a goal for Seattle, taking the ball off the line in the first half.
This is much better from Orlando again. I was thinking it would be nice to see a final act from this great series of possession.
Evans looking for Edmonds. And Pickett plays it out, takes a little pressure off her defense. Rain FC matches are great for your next corporate outing or team activity. Ticket discounts are available for groups of 15 or more. Call 855, that's 855 Rain FC for more information.
We talked
and
about
while
this,
I was reading
yes.
that, we had a substitution, so fill me in.
Oh yeah, no worries. It's we have Becky Edwards in, as we predicted she would, make an appearance in the game, and as we're ready, she's come in with instruction. She's helping the girls get organized and inject a bit of energy and organization to this game, which she does so well. It's going to be great to see she's got fresh legs, and I think it's going to really help the squad out.
Look at the room for Naho. Mellis back to Naho. Kawasumi, the shot, and deflected off a defender. It may have been off Kyle. The ball played. Oh, terrific pass that time by Mellis. Just a little bit over the head of Merritt Matthias. It could have very easily been 5-1 Seattle.
Can never give up on a ball. That's what Mellis just showed us. You know, it's like that moment where you pause and it happens, and you're on your back foot as a defensive line.
Good find by Barnes. Here's Little. She goes wide. Oh, Seattle just finding a lot of room against this Orlando defense. And offside is Ellie Reed.
Unfortunate to be called offside there, as Ellie was bombing on to create the 2v1 on the fullback. Kind of caught Jasmine Spencer by surprise, and they had a great situation to create something nice there. Good job on Ellie to get forward.
I was going to say, to see those defenders come up as much as they are is telling you this team is not sitting on the 4-1 advantage.
That's exactly it.
There's Edwards. To Edmonds. And Evans.
Good job with all that.
All the E's.
Very nice.
The triple E's in midfield right now for Orlando. The goal kick coming up for Kopmeyer. Look at Lauren Barnes. Good switch in play.
I think if you're going to start with a high line, if you're Orlando, you have to put pressure on that initial service, because one ball was able to take out two lines, and they're then retreating and losing that territory. So if you're going to play high, you have to apply pressure.
Mathias, Kyle chasing down that ball. Good job by, look, Merritt didn't have many options there, so why not just play it back and see if someone's making a run in that area. Talking with Laura Harvey yesterday about her team's postseason chances, and they have some ground to make up. She said, the thing that's good is we're getting a shot at teams ahead of us, and that's what we need to do. So after this match, and let's presume, although no disrespect intended for Orlando, but if Seattle holds on and gets the 3 points here tonight, they'll move ahead of the Pride, who currently have the 1 point advantage, and then back-to-back matches against Portland, albeit with some separation between the two. Seattle will play at Portland next Saturday. Then we hit the Olympic break, and then the Reign will host Portland on August 27th. So, again, this is a Portland team having a very good season. So,
I love that these Portland games and these series have come at this time.
Yeah.
I think it's going to make for such a great story at the end of the day to be able to play. Not only, for points, but it's obviously the rivalry that's exciting as well. So just, this is as a footballer, that's what you live for. These moments to really show up and make your mark and show up for must-win games. So it's going to be fun to watch.
See there, another example of the skill of Kim Little handling that very high ball to her. Kawasumi. Naho onside. Always under control, Kim Little. She has 4 defenders in her area, and rarely do you see her make a pass out of any level of panic or pressure. Always has such a great feel of where the defenders are.
Right, yeah, she does. She has almost a sixth sense about the way that she twists and turns around defenders. And I mean, if you have that kind of technical skill, I would trust myself as well.
Perfect job by, why not, right?
Yeah.
Nice job by Spencer, who has the lone goal tonight for Orlando, as she put some very good pressure on the Reign defense, resulting in a corner kick coming up for Kristen Edmonds.
These are the moments where Seattle can't take their time off. They have to definitely be focused in a set piece. I think Orlando, this is one of their best ways to even this scoreline, so they have to be very attentive.
Punched out by Kopmeyer. Levin trying to send it back in and blocked by Kendall Fletcher, who really has had, beyond the goal, beyond the ball she took off the goal line, preventing an Orlando goal. Very active tonight, very involved offensively and defensively, having a very nice game.
I totally agree with you. Her impact has been huge on both sides.
Presley goes wide to Edwards. Whitman, a little chip ahead to Edmonds. A good cross. Spencer going for it. The foul committed by Jasmine Spencer.
Been moments like
Lauren
that.
Barnes, who's down.
Got the double impact there. Leg and then upper body, yeah. Smart decision by Kopmeyer to get the team up.
Yep.
They haven't gone direct very much, but I do think it was a time to kind of get everyone out and reorganize.
And you burn a few seconds along the way.
Absolutely.
Not that you're trying
Doesn't
to kill
hurt.
clock at this point, but
It doesn't hurt.
you're in the 71st minute with a 3-goal advantage, so. Corner kick coming up for Orlando.
That's what we talked about. This is a little shift, I think Orlando's been living in this half a little bit longer than Seattle's been used to in the game. So it's going to be about a big clearance over here and getting them genuinely out of their territory.
Edmonds. Fletcher getting ahead on it. Ball kept in play. The Winners and Presley recovering and regaining possession for Orlando. Here's Kaylin Kyle. And another corner kick coming up for Orlando. So the Pride continue to put the pressure on. The feed from Spencer. Very nice pass. An excellent job really by Kaylin Kyle to stay onside.
Yeah, I agree. I like the way she pulled off the back line there. The back shoulder was hard to track. Nearly got one.
Presley kind of whiffed on that first attempt. I think she's down more out of frustration than any type of injury, but we'll see. She is slow getting up. She may have an issue with an ankle. Kawasumi. Naho. Going out wide to Matthias. And Presley now up and back defensively for the Pride. And Matthias trying to split a couple of defenders. And she's fouled. Take your choice, either Weatherholt or Whitteman.
It's going to be important for Seattle to stick to their game plan and switch the ball. Continue to do that in their half.
So Keelan Winters coming off in the 73rd minute and coming on. Bev Yanez, who arrived in Seattle 2 years ago from Japan with Naomi Kawasumi. They played club ball there together. At that time, she was Bev Goebel, now Bev Yanez. And look, you bring tremendous talent onto the field when Bev Yanez comes on as a sub.
Yeah, and I think the depth that the Seattle team has is quite impressive. And yeah, you can also tell that they're not taking their foot off the gas pedal here, because they're obviously looking to score more goals or to set up more goals, which is in fact what she's her strength. So it's going to be good to see her impact on this game and how she does that.
And there is Bev. Jess Fischlach going wide to Reed. There's certainly injuries, as we know, part of this game. So you don't look for excuses. You don't look for if only. But to not have Megan Rapinoe all season with her significant knee injury, you do wonder where the Seattle team might be. We know the level of play that Megan delivers. And
yeah, I do believe there's really no one like Megan in the sense of how she plays the game.
Yeah.
Her, you mentioned earlier, her crossing ability, it's her swagger too. It's her confidence, like you're better with her on the pitch.
Yeah.
And she's good for a goal a game really with this league. And so yeah, they've definitely missed her flair and her personality on the pitch.
And Carm, I don't know what your impressions are, but to come back from a significant knee injury that occurred in December to be ready for these games, the shot just wide. That time by Merritt Matthias. Nicely done by Merritt. It's a testament to her work ethic and determination. That is really impressive.
I think when you talk about the world's best, like we just did about Jess Fischlach, we talked about her laser focus and what she needs to do to be at her best. It's no different from the top pros. That's what separates. It's very easy to get potentially distracted or not be, do every rep. But I've seen Megan with my own eyes do that, and I think that she's the story. Just you could bring tears to your eyes because of how much work she's put in to prepare for a pivotal event. So I know everyone's excited to see her on that squad.
Throw in coming up for the Pride. Here's Fields. Spencer, the targeted player that time, but a little high for Jasmine. And room for Seattle on the counter attack. Here's Kawasumi. Matthias. Well defended by Presley to get a foot on that pass. And Yanez with fresh legs. very active, a throw in for Seattle.
I think our pregame show, we were talking about how pivotal of a match this is, and it's great to see both squads having a never say die mentality. They're both, it's end to end. No one's really dominating at this point. I think Orlando still very much feels like they're in it, and they are.
'77th minute. Pride, though, I think we'll have to get something on the board. Otherwise, as we get closer to the final 10 minutes or so, we may see Seattle a little more conservative, a little more into the possession game. Maybe Haley takes a little bit longer on the goal kicks and really start to milk that clock a little bit more.
Yeah, you may see some game management happening. I'm actually unsure. That would be probably the smart thing to do, but they look like they're still going to try to get one, in my opinion. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Laura's pumping it or not. We're not sure.
Fishlock. Well, I mean, again, we go back to that word. It's a key. The performance issue. They are still playing well. They are possessing the ball well, finding each other. There's a great example right there. Matthias, as she's going down, she finds Mellis. Kawasumi against Levin. Naho. And it'll be a corner for Seattle. You kind of get the feeling that Naho's on the verge of maybe getting a goal for herself.
Yeah. That was I have to highlight the tackle by Levin. I know I'm defensively oriented, but the way that she kind of scooped around and got that hook tackle at the last minute, that was world class.
Nellis coming in. Here's Little, very dangerous situation. Trying to find a teammate that time, getting it back. Good job by Kaylin Kyle defensively on her back. Kim Little has the ball near the 6-yard box. You really must be aware. All right, counter opportunity here for Orlando. Edwards. And Whitteman going down. That'll be a corner kick, I believe, for Orlando. Maybe a goal. Looks like it'll be a goal kick for Seattle. Substitution coming up for Seattle. Kirsten Dahlstream will be checking in. Nice round of applause for Manon Nellis, heading to Laura Harvey's bench as Dahlstrom comes on.
Some very attacking subs happening here.
Yeah.
A lot of pace in Kirsten, and I think it's going to be challenging this fatigue that Orlando backline naturally in the 80th minute. So it's a great tactic by Laura to put on some pace.
And in number 16, Leah Fortune.
Leah Fortune coming in for Orlando. Excuse me, Whitteman coming off for Orlando. Leah Fortune coming on for the Pride. Matthias. Kim Little.
Probably worst case scenario for any team in this situation, Orlando in this case, having to chase at this point in the game, feeling like you don't have possession, and the Reign valuing that possession enough to know that what it's doing to Orlando.
Well, Fishlock making a run right down the central part of the field, looking for a pass. Here's Naho working the sideline, touchline nicely. And the takeaway. Spencer looking for a counter opportunity, and there's a professional foul that will result in a booking for Dahlstream.
Those are always tough as a player. You know, the second you get beat and you're in that foot race, and it is a tactical foul, and it's going to happen every so often. I call it smart, especially with a player like Jasmine on the ball.
And with that 3-goal lead, you don't want to give anything think, potentially easy up to the Pride.
Your attention, please. A yellow card was issued in the 81st minute to number 25 of your Seattle Reign FC, Kirsten Dahlstrom.
Yanez, double team, taken away by Kyle. There's Spencer. Nicely done by Jasmine to create some space. Evans to Edwards. That was a bit of a pass without a lot of purpose. I know what she was trying to do, but just sort of...
It was a little rushed.
Yeah, a little rushed.
A little bit rushed. Again, we always talk about the extra pass, and I think that would have been useful there.
We spoke earlier about our admiration for Tom Sermani. He was on the, you know him well from his time on the Canadian staff, as I mentioned, former head coach of the national teams for the U.S. and Australia. Speaking with Laura Harvey yesterday, she's a big fan of Tom's, and for a number of reasons, including the fact that Tom recommended Laura for the Seattle job to Seattle owner Bill Predmore. And obviously Bill, to his credit, listened and made a tremendous hire in Laura Harvey, who not only serves as this team's head coach, but also its general manager. And talking to Tom, I said, you know, we both are in businesses where it's always good to have someone looking out for you to recommend you for another job. And
very much.
He obviously saw something in Laura Harvey that he thought would be a good fit here. Nice ball up to Yanez. Bev Yanez. Nice job by Savage to position herself.
Yeah, and Laura's, you know, is the heart and soul of this organization, and I know the players have for 4 years now played for her, and it's not common, I think, that happens, and that you really get a team rallying behind. Yes, the owner, like Bill and Teresa, are such also pivotal parts, but this team is really connected through what Laura's been able to create culturally.
Kawasumi, here comes Fishlock. Not sure if Jess was shooting or passing. Here's Reed out wide.
I think relative to what you were saying earlier, how they would see this game out, Seattle, you see that they have numbers back. They're not going to give up too much, so I would agree with you that they're playing a little bit more conservatively and taking the moments as they come. That was a fantastic ball for Bev to get in at just the right moment.
Very nice ball, Dahlstrom out to Reed, to Little. And taken away by Levin. It's really one of the few times that we've seen a Seattle player give up a ball so easily. They have been that clean tonight.
Hagen in the game for Orlando. And
Sarah Hagen.
That could help with a little bit of their attacking efforts. Already asking for the ball.
And substitution for Seattle.
Substitution in the 85th minute for your Seattle Reign FC.
I think Kim's done her job tonight.
I think so. Lindsay Elston will be coming on to get some time here in the 85th minute. Former University of Washington player under one Leslie Gallimore, who usually occupies the chair that Carm is in this evening. I just want to take a moment to thank Bill Schwartz, who's been filling in for me on some games recently due to some conflicts, so thanks to Bill for that.
Yes.
You'll hear him again this season.
Yeah, it was great to work with Bill last time. I had a nice little thing going.
Deep bench. We have a deep bench.
Yeah, we do, you know.
Interchangeable
We're ready to
pieces.
step up.
And Savage will come out to get that ball. Fans, be sure and mark your calendar now for the 2016 National Women's Soccer League Championship on Sunday, October 9th at BBVA Compass Stadium in Houston. Be there to support our league, support our game, and hopefully support our team. Tickets for the NWSL Championship game are on sale now at nwslchampionship.com with prices starting at $20. Start making plans now to be in Houston for the NWSL Championship.
I'm really loving the change with Elston in the middle. She's already connected all over passes, so that's going to help them keep possession and instill that little bit of steadiness that they need. And her work rate has been incredible. It's a great switch, actually.
Nice job by Hagan, but better defense by Carson Pickett. Eleven playing it back. Well, Carm, not that this team lacks confidence, but this certainly has to kind of give you a nice step forward as you get down to Portland next week, next Saturday, to take on a Thorns team that's had an exceptional season, entering play today, tied for first place in the league. Elston looking for Yanez, looking for again and an own goal! And a 5-1 Seattle lead.
It's going to be a tough one for Orlando to swallow. I mean, at the end of the day, it was a own goal as a defender for sure, but kind of maybe gave up on a little play in the corner. Elston didn't. Like we mentioned, she's buzzing coming on and was opportunistic.
We'll see which defender deflected off of Presley and Kyle there. So Kyle with the initial defensive stop, and then Presley with the left leg, putting it past Savage.
Yeah, they're going to want that one back.
Well, as a defender, I don't know if you have given up an own goal, but it's just tough. Although, look, when it's late, you're already down 4-1. It's not as if Presley has cost her team this match.
Yeah, it's happened to me.
It's just the way the ball bounces,
It's
right?
actually happened. It's a funny story. I'll be quick, but it was Megan Rapinoe.
Take your time.
Yeah, Salt Lake City game right before the Olympics. Last prep game, it was like 47 degrees
So
Celsius.
back in 2012. All right.
Yeah, it was back in 2012 in the summer. Megan with her crossing, right? She goes in.
Yep.
It's that corridor of death, right behind you as you're traveling back towards your own goal, facing your goal. And I miscommunication with Erin McLeod and it was an own goal against the States, which you might as well be 10 goals down. So it was not a great moment heading into an Olympic Games, and Megan has not let me live it down, so that's been cool.
But you shook it off. You shook
have
it
to,
off,
yeah,
right?
You have to.
You have to.
The only one in my career, thank goodness.
See, now when you have too many own goals to really remember,
Yeah,
then you have a problem.
You're in the wrong job. Let's put it that
That's
way.
right. That's right.
Oh, look at
nice
this.
ball up ahead. Edmonds, good opportunity, and the goal! Kristen Edmonds in the 89th minute. So the goals tonight for Orlando from Edmonds and Spencer. Well played ball that time. It looked like on the replay that was Hagan.
Mm-hmm.
And a terrific job with the patience as she just gets it under Kopmeyer.
We talked about Kristen Edmonds playing till that very last minute. We're in the 90th minute. She is still raring for that goal and made a fantastic run and a good impact from Hagan to play that through ball.
Carm, this really continues a trend that those two players have been delivering coming into this game. Spencer and Edmonds had combined for 4 goals over the last 4 games. They each scored tonight, so make it 6 goals through 5 matches. So that's certainly encouraging for the Pride.
Yes.
And I think Tom Sermani's got to be encouraged again that despite the adversity that his team has dealt with tonight, they are playing this the full 90.
That's right. Yeah, Orlando, testament to Orlando. They've kept going the whole time.
Elston tripped
Still
up.
fighting for every little inch here. It's good to see from a morale standpoint.
And as you can see in Caitlin Kyle, she's giving up
in it.
nothing. She is into it.
She's fiery,
making her
for sure.
case. you know, I know Naho knows some English. I'm not sure exactly what Jess was saying to her, and I'm not sure if Naho got it completely.
Probably just a swift, I got this.
But maybe she did.
Yeah, let me do this, yeah.
One minute of added time. Kawasumi on the ball. And off the crossbar. The follow nearly in by Matthias. Seattle greedy late in this match.
There
How
has
about
been
that?
opportunities for a minimum of, 4 more goals?
Yeah.
That could have been, they were just nearly there.
And that is that on a very, very impressive night for the Seattle Reign with the 5-2 victory tonight over the Orlando Pride as the team split the season series. Orlando winning on its home pitch 2-0 back on May 8th. Seattle doing what, now I'm not saying Laura Harvey would have said, yeah, we need to come in here and win 5-2. But I think she would have said, with the entire starting back line out for Orlando, we need to exploit that. And they did exploit that here tonight.
Yeah, I think also it was really cool to see that the Reign has played a certain system all season,
Yeah.
and that they have switched it up. They were brave enough to say, okay, let's take advantage of a new approach, and it worked out wonderfully. And that's going to make them a little less predictable moving into future games.
So with the win, Seattle picking up the 3 points, 20 points now on the season. Moving ahead of Orlando, trailing Sky Blue and Chicago, which are currently tied for 5th place with 22 points. So very important that Seattle got the victory tonight. Portland 26 points. Washington 26 points. Western New York losing to Kansas City 1-0, so the Flash remain at 25. And the Red Stars at 22, along with Sky Blue and Seattle now with 20 points. So
they're in the running.
They're in the running.
They're in the running. There's
And
no doubt. It's going to take a lot of other results to go certain ways, but they have to take care of business like they did tonight. So if they do that next game, they'll be in a great spot.
And you can see Kendall Fletcher, Bev Yanez, Lindsay Elston, Fishlock hugging Yanez there as the players congratulate each other and thank the fans in the north stands. And you see some of them right there for their support here tonight. A correction in the attendance. We had mentioned roughly 4,800 earlier. The official attendance, 5,103. And not even half of that group members of Haley Cobb-Meyer's family, although they had a nice representation of about 5 or 6 here.
Yeah, it was about half
tonight.
of the crowd was Cobb's family.
Yeah, Kendall Fletcher really doing an outstanding job here tonight with her goal and the outstanding defensive play she had on the goal line to deny a goal for Orlando. So let's recap some of the action here tonight. Carm, the penalty kick, Kim Little putting Seattle up initially in the 21st minute. As we mentioned, when Seattle scores first, life gets much easier. Kawasumi serving that ball in, and then Jess Fishlock. Well, that was just a beautiful strike with the left foot in the 30th minute. 2-0 Seattle. And then here comes the defensive gem by Fletcher as Cobb-Meyer could not stop that ball. The diving header, that was really a special play.
It was a special moment for sure. Shows Fletcher's class.
And her athleticism. And then Kim Little going in, the confusion, and Manon Mellis taking advantage of it as she scores 3-0 Seattle in the 47th minute as Levin, the defender, in essence knocking the ball away from her teammate. And then Spencer, the response for Orlando in the 52nd minute, making it a 3-1 game. So at that point, Orlando alive, but not long after that, the rain coming right back. And then there was that mistake, certainly happening on occasion, the own goal off the foot of Presley. The 5th goal for Seattle. But the Pride keep pushing forward, and there was Edmonds scoring, getting the ball under Kopmeyer. And what you did not see, we're going to show you right now, the play of the match. Barnes with the corner off the head of Kendall Fletcher. It's our play of the match, brought to you by Seattle Divorce Services. Kendall Fletcher, outstanding. Seattle Divorce Services, proud to present tonight's play of the match. Maybe that was the play of the match, actually.
The acrobatics
right
afterwards,
there.
yes. That's not easy.
Well, Kendall Fletcher, I believe, can hear us. Kendall?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Let me tell you something.
Hey, Kendall.
A great header. You really save your team a goal with that diving save at the goal line. As I mentioned to Carm during the broadcast, as special as both of those plays were, I really thought, and I think I can speak for Carm on this as well, there were a lot of terrific things that you did before and after those two moments. Talk about your game tonight. Really outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were really motivated to step out here and get a result tonight, I think. And I was just in the spots to make the play, so I tried to do what the team needed. And fortunately, I was in the mix to make some big plays on both sides of the ball. But really, just trying to back up my teammates and be there for them. I think it was a really good team win tonight. I think you saw in our play, both offensively and defensively, it just meshed better tonight, and that's always so much fun, and it gives you a lot of energy, and so you get into plays like that. So, and it's always fun to do a backflip. What can I say?
That's right, Fletch. And just to say, you did have an outstanding game on both sides of the ball, and it's hard to put it together a complete 90 the way you did, and you had a lot of special moments, and I think the team feeds off of that. So great job. Always a pleasure to watch you. World class tonight.
Thank you, Carm.
What else did you think worked tonight in terms of, I don't know, would you describe this as the team's best performance this season? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think we did well. Obviously, with us, we're always looking to get better and improve on what we did. Obviously, we're going to take the win and the result. That's a good result. We let in 2 goals. We let them back into it, I think, at 3-1. So we've got to clean that up a little bit. And we did. I mean, I think we can be sharper, but it's coming along, and that's what you want to see. We kind of need to get results at this part of the season, so you want to see what we did tonight. And obviously, great result. We're going to take the 3 points and move on.
So 20 points now, so you're 2 points out of a potential playoff spot at this time. You have Portland at Portland next Saturday. Then we hit the Olympic break, and then the first game back is here against Portland on August 27th. I was speaking with your head coach, Laura Harvey, yesterday. She said, the good thing about being in the situation you're in, you have some control. You're playing teams ahead of you. How optimistic are you about getting one of those postseason spots before all is said and done?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why we're here. That's why we're here. That's why we show up every day and put in the hard work. We definitely think it's within our grasp. I think we've been a little disappointed to not get results so far, so we've really got to push forward and keep moving forward. But I think if we put the work in and play the way we can play like we did tonight, the results will come. But it is nice that it's still in our control, and we've got to keep it that way. And obviously, that's a huge motivation. This is why we play the game to get into that final playoff spot and put ourselves in a position to go for the championship.
Hey, last question. You want to tell everybody who that cute little redhead is with the number 13 jersey
Yeah.
you had to start things off? He's long gone now.
Yeah, he's gone. He's out of here. That is Fletcher. That's my nephew. My whole family's here, so they got to see the game tonight, which is just, I think that's a little bit of why I played the way I did tonight. It's so great to have them here, and obviously he's a special one to me, so it's fun to let him come down on the field. He loves it.
He's got some wheels like his aunt does, I'll tell you that.
I hope so. He is a little athlete.
Hey, Kendall, thanks so much for the
Thanks,
time.
Kendall.
Fun watching the performance tonight. Best of luck next week at Portland, and we look forward to catching up with you again soon.
All right, thanks.
Good job, Kendall.
Thanks, Carmen.
See you, Fletch.
Great
All right.
defender, Kendall Fletcher. Outstanding stuff tonight, helping her squad get the 5-2 victory over the Orlando Pride. So, Carm, what do you think about, just real quick, on the matchup with Portland next week, and what Seattle will need to do to get it done against a very good Thorn squad?
Yeah, I think they continue to do what they're doing. I love what Fletch is saying. The messaging from the club is consistent. we're working on progress. She was not happy with the 2 goals they conceded. They're going to tighten things up so that late in the game they're not letting teams back in. I think they have a really good shot, specifically with Portland losing a lot of their starters. I don't see the impact here on the Reign being as significant. Of course, they're missing Hope and Megan when she gets back. But, I think they're in a great spot to do some pretty cool things in the next few games.
Carmelina Moscato, a pleasure working with you
as well,
tonight. I
Tom.
hope we get
Thanks.
to do it again. Leslie Gallimore will be back in short order. I think, she's always traveling.
That's right.
The globe, Coach.
Busy,
Coach is always busy, but had fun working with you tonight.
You as well, Tom. Thank you.
Great to have you folks joining us here tonight. We want to thank everybody with Bootstrapper as well. Bootstrapper Studios located here in Seattle, Washington. Those folks do yeoman's work long before we arrive and long after we are gone. Terrific work here, as always, covering the Seattle Reign. So our thanks to Bootstrapper Studios for the broadcast, the live streaming, and for live streaming sports and events of all sizes. Be sure and visit them at bootstrapperstudios.com. With that, once again, your final score from Memorial Stadium here in Seattle. The Seattle Reign 5, the Orlando Pride 2 from the Great Northwest. Have a terrific evening, everyone. Thanks for spending some time with us. Seattle Divorce Services is the proud presenter of the Play of the Match, following each Reign game on YouTube. Seattle Divorce Services believes in taking a sophisticated approach to solving tough cases, with options including litigation, collaboration, and mediation. Let them help you find the right approach for your case. For more information, visit SeattleDivorceServices.com.